Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday morning, and you are watching the Kaiser Report. We have a few things to go through today. A lot of the nonsense that is still taking place in Minnesota, I'm convinced, is a cover-up on the enlightening of all the fraud that took place there. The fact that we have a sitting congresswoman that is trying her best to cover it up and lie to the American public about exactly what's really going on in Minnesota. It's almost inciting a riot when you listen to her speech off the back of a pickup truck the other day, telling people to take to the streets and protest against the law enforcement that's taking place in that city, all while trying to cover up her involvement in the fraud that did take place in Minnesota, up to $9 billion of fraud that they want to just cast to the side and say that it was taking care of their Somalian population and allowing people to skim money from opening businesses that did nothing and had the government pay for it. That's the long and short of it, folks. There is no reason for it to have happened other than people figured out a way to scam the system, benefit from the system, and live lives of luxury while you work for them. This is the Democratic Party's new mantra. You work for us, we'll spend your money as we see fit, and we don't care about you. We'll say we're fighting for you, but they don't fight for anyone but themselves. It's clearly evident to us all now after watching Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi manipulate the system to enrich themselves and hold someone to accountability. Never. We have a lot of the same things going on right now in this administration, where we have Pam Bondi that has held no one's feet to the fire or arrested anyone. Although we know now where the fraudulent problems are. You have fraud taking place in several states. You have the state of Illinois that has brought a lawsuit against the Justice Department and so on to stop ICE from taking away their illegal criminal element that was let into this country for 4 years. Tim Walz should have been in handcuffs on the uncovering of the $9 billion in fraud that it took an independent journalist to uncover, because our lousy media, such as CNN and MSNBC, didn't find fit to do anything but tell you how bad Donald Trump was for 10 years. And then lie about the availability or the ability, the cognitive ability for 4 years of Joe Biden. It was covered up. Then they had the audacity to run out and write books that, we didn't know. They full well knew. All along they knew. I watched Bill Thomas this morning over at the News Roundup, and he has concisely put together a few things about Ilhan Omar that we all should be aware of. So let's just take a quick look at Bill's broadcast this morning.
And we begin with Representative Ilhan Omar, who's now going on the offensive and outrageously claiming that there's no justification at all for the federal response to Minnesota's jaw-dropping fraud scandal. I guess the feds should just look the other way, maybe take a holiday and run down to Maui for a couple of weeks. Despite the fact that some estimates now peg the damage at more than $9 billion and that most of the alleged fraudsters charged with related crimes are of Somali descent, Omar says the Trump administration administration's efforts to deal with the massive problems plaguing her state, they're completely unnecessary. She claims that instead of legitimately trying to deal with the issues in a responsible manner, federal agents are merely sowing fear, confusion, and chaos wherever they go, and basically making life miserable for everyone who lives there. Well, not exactly accurate. We'll get to that in just a bit. Now, taking it a step further, Omar says there's no reason at all for thousands of ICE agents to waste any more time conducting raids in Minneapolis because, according to her, none of the searches they've conducted so far have produced any sort of criminal activity at all. She goes on to argue that up till now, all 87 people who've been charged with fraud-related crimes in Minnesota were done so in a highly cooperative manner between state officials and the former Biden administration. Meanwhile, she claims the current Trump administration has not found enough evidence to charge a single person. Not yet, anyway. In a nutshell, Omar says the federal government is trying to rely on misdirection by using inflammatory rhetoric and cutting off her state's food stamp funding, claiming that it's all merely part of a highly orchestrated PR stunt, all designed to hurt her constituents. America, you decide, a PR stunt or trying to track down billions in fraud? She's also stepping way out on a limb and claiming that right now, in addition to arresting violent criminals, ICE agents are actively disappearing American citizens as well, thus threatening the U.S. democracy.
Oh, come on!
She's basically trying to say the sky is falling. Yeah, I kind of get that. Now, for their part, the Department of Homeland Security, they say that Omar's outrageous comments are part of a ridiculous lie which demonizes law enforcement, promotes violence against them, and makes their already challenging jobs that much more difficult. They also report that since they recently kicked off their Operation Metro Surge efforts in Minneapolis, their officers and agents have already arrested more than 1,500 illegal aliens in the area, including a large number of extremely violent criminals. Final thought, and this is the News Roundup Lowdown. And according to my little bucket of sunshine, that one, Ilhan Omar, a federal response to this monumental scandal is wholly unnecessary, which is her fancy way of saying, what's a lousy $9 billion between friends? Simply look the other way and pretend nothing ever happened. Actually, I kind of like that. Highly convenient. On the other hand, when that amount of taxpayer money goes missing, the feds have an obligation to investigate, determine who has broken any number of laws, conduct investigations, arrest guilty parties, conduct trials, and hold responsible those who got rich off the federal government. Her claims of confusion, chaos, intimidation, nothing more than a byproduct of those who have enabled all this fraud to take place, and to blame anybody else for all the drama. That's what they call Psychology 101, projection. A massive chunk of this fraud happened on her watch in her 5th district, and she wants you to think it's the feds who are the bad guys. Now, regarding her claim that ICE agents are creating terror in Minnesota, she's delusional. There are ICE agents in big cities all over the country with law enforcement duties to carry out, and if you've done nothing wrong, you'll experience absolutely no terror. By the way, because I don't want there to be any hard feelings between me and Ms. Omar, I'm leaving out the part where she recently became the proud new mom of $30 million. Because bringing that up at this particular juncture, it just wouldn't seem appropriate. And you can take that to the bank.
Thank you, Bill, for being on top of things as usual. And we use that here just to show you that it's not just this platform that is uncovering some of this nonsense that is being covered up by mainstream media. As late as yesterday on Air Force One, CNN tried backhandedly to get Donald Trump to say something that they thought that they could report on, and identified themselves as part of the White House pool when they were asked, what platform are you with? Trump took her to task immediately. Let's just take a quick look at that.
Leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again.
But we're looking at it very seriously. The military's looking at it. And we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
Which options have you been briefed on? Are you meeting with senior officials?
Tell you the
Are you meeting with your
Am I going to really, are you asking me to say what will they do, where will we attack, when, and at what angle will we attack from?
Are you considering
Who are you with?
I'm with the U.S. White House TV pool. I'm wondering, are you being briefed on options?
network are you with?
I'm with CNN, sir.
says, I'm with the White House pool. And I say, what? You're with CNN. You're with
CNN,
you're
yes.
with fake news.
Iran
Because
said
CNN
that-
is fake news.
Iran
Go ahead,
said
give me a question.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
5 minutes later.
Just quickly, Iran said that they would consider military and commercial bases as legitimate targets if you struck. Are you concerned about?
If they do that, we'll consider things targets they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it.
Do you think
I
Iran's-
have options that are so strong. So I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
Do you think Iran takes your threats seriously?
I think so. Don't you think so, CNN? Don't you think so? Wouldn't you say that they probably do at this point? After going through it for years with me, being hit, Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, the Iran nuclear threat wiped out. Don't you think, and then you just had Venezuela, don't you think, she says, CNN, do you think they take your threat seriously? Wouldn't you say they do after all of the things we've done? What a stupid question. Go ahead.
It's amazing how they try to bait and manipulate a word or two words that were said by the president or any member of his cabinet and use it against them. Because the media is still fighting very hard to convince us that we, 77 million of us, made a mistake in voting for this administration. But the bad news for them is this administration is succeeding, one win after another. Their hair is on fire over the fact that we have Maduro in cuffs. And that country is negotiating with us and other parts of the world on the oil and getting a regime change to take place there. All while the upset in the streets of Iran goes on with threats from our president to stop killing people, or you will pay the consequences. So we have a media that fights against that, and we have a Democratic side of the Congress and a handful of rhinos that want to go along with the media, because with them it's get Trump at all cost. Not what's important for you or I or anyone that's trying to just make a living in this country and watch the betterment take place that is taking place. Gas prices are down. Food prices are starting to decline. We have win after political win here with not only the Supreme Court, but even as of yesterday and the day before, yesterday, with the Senate. Schumer's plan backfired on him, which all these backfirings that take place, such as the government shutdown that they tried so hard to make you believe that it was all the Republicans' fault, while they engineered the shutdown and it backfired on them. They just do not get the fact that Donald Trump is a winner and a very successful person. All through his life, he's had success after success. He may know something about building, and he may know something about economy, which we have a Congress full of people that are devoid of any reasoning on the economy other than enriching themselves through stock market trades or fraud, such as the Minnesota uncovering. And now they tell us that Illinois and California is probably even worse than what they found in Minnesota. Well, that'll take us into our segment of what does it all mean?
Some comics go the route of, I'm going to just say F Trump all the time, or that's their comedy. And I think, well, now a little bit you're being co-opted because you're so angry. You've been lulled. It's like a siren leading you into the rocks. You've been lulled into just saying F Trump, F Trump, F Trump. Go yourself. Screw this guy. And I think you've now put down your best weapon, which is being funny, and you've exchanged it for anger. And that person or any person like that would say, well, things are too serious now. I don't need to be funny. And I think, well, if you're a comedian, you always need to be funny. You just have to find a way. And you just have to find a way to channel that anger, because good art will always be a great weapon, will always be a perfect weapon against power. But if you're just screaming and you're just angry, you've lost your best tool in the toolbox.
When you come out and do your monologues, which are really based on what you've read, do you go home and worry about things? Do you worry about this country? Are there things that really bug you that you can't say in the air?
You're going to get serious, aren't you?
A little bit.
I think one of the dangers, if you are a comedian, which basically I am, if you start to take yourself too seriously and start to comment on social issues, your sense of humor suffers somewhere. And we've had some criticism on the show. Some critics over the years says, well, the show has no great sociological value. It's not controversial. It's not deep. The Tonight Show basically is to amuse people, to make them laugh.
Well, I don't get it.
So we look at what's going on in and around the world today, which you got just a brief glimpse of what's taking place here. But what worries me is what's taking place across the sea in Iran right now, where the clerics are fighting tooth and nail against the people that are in the streets protesting and asking for a change in leadership. They have suffered under the Ayatollahs for quite a long time. It goes way back to Carter administration when all of that taking of hostages and the failed attempt with the helicopters that took place there, which made us look very weak and foolish in the eyes of the world. Right now we have a president that they have to stop and take a step back and say, this guy may do what he says he's going to do. Look what just happened in Venezuela. They'll see this. They know what happened when he told them to cease and desist on their nuclear program. And we had Midnight Hammer come along and show them that we're not kidding. We don't want to take over South American countries. We're not looking to take over Greenland. We're looking to solidify this nation's protection, utilizing a hand in hand with these other country leaders so we can have bases and keep our enemies from encroaching on our shores. It's long and short, very simple. When you stop and think, you don't want the enemy at the gates. We had that for 4 years, and it increased our population by over 20 million people that came to add nothing to the benefit of this nation, other than bleeding dry every social program that these sanctuary cities and states could provide them, all while doing it illegally and amassing a fortune for the immigrants that came in and hate America. Then why did you come? They came for one simple reason. They came because they knew they could work the system here, and we had a Congress and law enforcement that did not stand up and protect its own citizens. That's something that we all need to be somewhat concerned about. The news media and our Congress want you in constant fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety do nothing but upset this population and distract us from what we should be doing. And that is thanking God for all that we have, which is plentiful. And if we want to take care of true refugees or asylum seekers that love America, like most of our ancestors came here, worked hard to build an America, and called themselves American citizens, and saluted the flag, not the flag of another country, especially one that you claim that you had to leave because of oppression. This is what the squad is all about in Congress. When you stop and think about it, that's all they have to say. It's all about their allegiance to their countries that they came from, to sit in our Congress and tell people how bad America is. When do we realize that we cannot let indigent populations from other countries come in and form their own state with enough electoral votes to put these people into Congress, full well knowing that their allegiance is to the country from which they came? Why is this happening? Why was it allowed to happen for 8 years of Obama and 4 years of Biden-Harris, with one brief interruption, which they never got over, and the hatred and the Trump derangement syndrome comes from exactly that. They were interrupted in their plan to turn this into a communist bastion of free-for-all on the backs of the citizens that go out and work so they can live a life in the lap of luxury. It's a hard thing to swallow, but we've all watched it now. We are watching it unfold before your very eyes, and the fight against it unfolding has taken over the entire news cycle, all while putting the citizens to the side. You don't need this. We're going to take care of those people over here. They defend the criminal. When you defend the criminal element, it's a criminal move on your part as a sitting congressperson. These people have deportation papers that they have ducked in some cases for 15 years. They're being rounded up by ICE right now, and this is where all of the rub is coming from. They do not want to lose the vote of the criminal element or anyone else in the communities that they have let fester and set up an organization in that is a criminal organization. They are no better than the cartels that are bringing the drugs into our country, which we have put a very big blockade in the way of. It's not making the cartels happy. It's not making China happy and the people that are manufacturing these things to come in and dumb down and in some cases sicken the citizens of this country so they can have an easy time in taking it over. That's the plan. And someone, a disruptor in the White House right now, has put a kink in that plan, and they don't like it. The most important election that you'll ever be part of is this interim or midterm election that's coming. And if we don't do this correctly, we are going to lose the United States of America. And that is the truth. no matter how the media wants to shade it, no matter how our Congress fights against it. We, the people who put the Congress people in those seats, have the last say. And we need to all get together in unity under God as this country was founded and do the right thing. Because if we don't, we're going to be at a massive loss in this country. And the world will change as a result of it. I hear rhetoric coming out of Congress about we don't need to be the world's policeman. No, we don't. But we need to look out for our own. And if it means stopping a regime in another country that is on our borders or close to our borders, we need to get involved. We have a cabinet right now that is all capable of taking care of this and also bringing a cessation to wars that are endless, which we're not going to have boots on the ground in Iran. The president tells you that every day. But the Congress will tell you something different because they hate President Trump. They feel that their plan was disrupted by this terrible person, Donald J. Trump. Not the case, because we have a winner in the White House right now, and when he wins, we all win. And that'll take us into our new segment. Actually, it'll take us into our segment of what does it all mean. Take a look here.
Intend to go to speech to tear it up, but I just, the first part of it, I tore a page because he was lying, and then the next page, and then the next page. I thought it was a manifesto of lies all throughout, so I better just tear up the whole speech. Now, the speeches are on strong paper, so you have to do it a few times to get it done.
About Nancy Pelosi?
Nancy Pelosi's retiring.
I think she's an evil woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country. I thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible. Thank you very much.
This is intolerable.
It's hard to believe that these things take place in our country, and we have to put up with the lies, the misinformation, and the poor job that the government, our Congress, has done to protect us, the citizenry of this country. It's a great country. We're embarking on a celebration that is coming this year, which they'll fight against or make fun of and tell us it's all done wrong, because they don't love this country. Our president and his cabinet have proven their love for this country for the entire last year and then 4 years before that, interrupted by a manufactured pandemic or plandemic, as I refer to it as. But we have what took place, had happened. It hurt our youth. It hurt our faith and our religions, because the churches were closed, the schools were closed. In most cases, your businesses were closed. They didn't care that our kids were not being educated. They didn't care that you didn't have a paycheck any longer. They found PPP, which got abused. Now it's coming out that, places like Minnesota had abused the PPP program so badly that no one benefited from it except a handful of foreigners that decided to open businesses that weren't real businesses. And in some cases didn't even bother to open the business and took PPP and the EDL program. We know that now. And it will continue if allowed to continue. We have an administration now that is trying to stop it from continuing, and hopefully that will take place. People like Omar fight against it. You have a governor that should have been in handcuffs. You have a mayor of the city of Minneapolis, which incited a riot. You have a sitting congresswoman from Minneapolis that incites rioting. And you have somebody that has lost their life as a result of the fact that the police department in Minneapolis was told to stay away and stand down. In the news reports yesterday, we watched the police run from these crowds that turned on them after they've provided them all they needed to run against ICE with. When the police department runs from the problem, you have an immense problem on the threshold of losing your city or having it burned to the ground. The crowds are out of control. The police no longer can control them. And you have a congresswoman that is even throwing more gas on the fire of it all. If it takes place here and they get away with it, how long will it be before Chicago turns this way? LA will turn this way. New York is on the bridge right now of communism. Whether it will last, we don't know. It remains to be seen. It's up to us to pray that it doesn't, because we could be on the verge of losing this country if we don't wise up and get back to basics. What are the basics? Let's take a look at our new corner here, the spiritual corner.
Good places to pray. Cardinal Timothy Dolan here. That's what I've been talking about the past 8 or 9 days. And here's a good place: morning and night. Our morning prayers and our night prayers. When we get up in the morning and when we go to bed at night. Good places to pray. Simple. In the morning, I was taught, if you don't say anything else in the morning, just to say, to make the sign of the cross as soon as I'm getting out of bed and say, all for thee, most sacred heart of Jesus. Sacred heart of Jesus, I place all my trust in thee. Sacred heart of Jesus, have mercy on me, a sinner. You sort of dedicate the day to the Lord, asking for the grace to get through. That's a good morning offering, what we always call that beautiful prayer when we get up in the morning. And at night, usually I'll say it again. I'll say, Lord, 16, 18 hours ago, I asked for grace to get through the day. Now, before I go to bed, I'm going to thank you for answering that prayer and ask for your mercy for the times that maybe I wasn't as good a disciple as I should have been. And I'm going to put it all into your hands, and please bless me with a good night's sleep. Morning prayer, night prayer, good places to pray.
Prayer is our answer. Prayer in the morning, prayer in the evening, and prayer when we ask for help in rectifying all of the things that we spoke here of today, which is, in some cases, completely out of control and out of the hands of the people that have the wherewithal to stop it. But when someone benefits from bad behavior, they are reluctant to stop the bad behavior. If someone is benefiting from someone else's bad behavior, there is no reason for them to stop that person because the benefits are there. In this case, in Minnesota, it's monetary. But it's also a loss of a life right now. And I ask you all to still pray for that loss of life. It was a bad mistake to have been made by these two individuals that decided to go out that day and act the fool. When you act the fool, you can do two things. You can lose everything, or you could end up in our stupid town here, which is not a fun place to be, because it shows the ill education that's taken place in this country. And our educational system has failed us for decades now. Is it part of a dumbing down of our society, or is it that we just do not have teachers that took the care and cared enough to make sure that you had a foundation of education that you could profit from for the rest of your life? That was taking place when I went to school, but something happened along the way. They're no longer teaching the important things for you to have a viable job and a viable way and an educated way to be able to go into a walk of life that requires intelligence. A dumbing down of society is in the playbook of every despot in every country that is socialistic or communistic. We all know this now. It's well documented. Why we've turned a blind eye to some of this is beyond me. But we need to get back to God. He is the answer. And our prayers are our salvation. We've heroized football players, athletes, actors and actresses for far too long. These are just people that got lucky in life. We told you that here yesterday. The newscasters that you see on TV that give you the propaganda of one party or another are just that, propaganda spreaders. They're actors and actresses. They're no longer investigative journalists. That went out the window years ago. It takes someone like Nick Shirley, an independent, to go out and uncover things that were easily uncoverable by Channel 5. And the news media is not your friend. When we spoke about anxiety and fear, these are the people that propagate that through propaganda, through keeping you in fear of everything. But fear nothing, because you have the ability to turn that knob off. Hit that stop button and don't watch it. They'll quickly lose their ratings and be gone. We control that. We can't feed into that any longer. We watch the NFL make fools of themselves with all this taking of a knee and not doing the national anthem and things of that nature that you will never go to a foreign country and see happen for whatever reason, but mostly out of pride in your own country, which we seem to have lost a little bit. Why the Karens are in the street, why these young women are out trying to defend criminals is beyond my understanding. We have a comment section here below. Let us know from time to time what your thoughts are. I don't hear much from people with answers. I hear back from people that don't like this or don't like that, or hate Donald Trump. But we need to hear from you all about what you are thinking. How can we help spread the news? I feel that God has asked me to include a spiritual side of this news broadcast that we give you every day. And that's what I'm going to do. Some people will not like it. And some people just tune in for Stupid Town or what does it all mean? We get a lot of comments on that. And when we did the spiritual month for December, people wrote me and said, we really miss Stupid Town and the laughs. So people tune in for different reasons. But we need not to tune out to the real fact that this country was founded on God and needs to go back to trust in God to help this country out. And then that'll take us to that exit that you all love, the exit to Stupid Town.
How many states make up the United States?
50.
You know what the capital is?
Of
United States?
Harrisburg. Oh, is there a capital in the U.S.?
Who fought in the Civil War?
The Civil War? Wasn't it... What's his name? Kennedy? Kennedy's...
Yeah, Kennedy against who?
I don't.
If you guys get this question right, I will give you $100. If you're driving 80 miles per hour, how long does it take for you to go 80 miles?
80 hours.
All right, takes 70 hours. 70 hours.
80 hours?
Final answer?
80 hours. 80 hours. How do you get 80 from 70?
It's miles.
Yeah, how do you get 80 from 70?
Because I picked 70.
I don't think you guys are pushing P enough.
We're not?
No. Yeah, laugh out loud.
Do I get the 100?
Do you know what the square root of 4 is?
16.
Who fought in the Revolutionary War?
I don't even know what that war is, to be honest.
Do you know who the leader of Russia is?
I forgot his name.
Do you know what the First Amendment is?
My history teacher would be disappointed in me. No.
What 2 countries border the U.S.?
I really don't know. I don't know.
The country above us and below us, dude. Like, if you had to guess.
What, Africa?
Can you name 3 countries in North America?
North America.
You know this.
I do.
Do you know what the 4 directions on a compass are?
A compass? What is that?
All right, MAGA. You can have it. You can have the whole damn thing, the whole damn country. You and friggin' Trump, the whole administration can go to hell. I've had enough of you guys. You know, all I ever do is come in and ask questions. And you guys are just as mean as snakes, man. As mean as you can friggin' be. We've had enough. My wife and I are selling our place, and we're moving. We're going to friggin' move to Mexico, man. I'm so tired of you guys. My wife is in the house right now, bawling her friggin' eyes out because of you guys. What the hell's the matter with you? Where's your humanity? You can have it. Mark my words on this. Trump's going down. That whole administration is, and I'll watch it from afar.
You shouldn't wear that. Your belly's too big. You shouldn't wear that. It only looks good on skinny girls. You shouldn't wear that. Says who? Says who? Yeah. Okay.
I just really have to share this horrible experience we've just had with American Airlines. We have just gotten back from Kenya and scheduled to fly out of LaGuardia right now to get to Santa Fe. I fly first class because I like to get the first seat, not that I like to get, but ever since you guys know my mold exposure, I was diagnosed with PTSD. So I have to fly first class to get the first seat, and they oversold first class, despite the fact that we booked this flight over 6 months ago on American Airlines, paid 3 times as much for our ticket. They bumped us out of first class, which again, I have to get that first seat because of my severe PTSD when I fly after my mold exposure.
So if the food stamp money comes from taxpayers, where did the money come to give to taxpayers? Riddle me that one. Serious question. Where'd it come from? Since y'all so smart and y'all know it alls, where exactly did the taxpayer money come from? Where did the money start from? Is money even real?
I'll also be meeting with a lawyer on Tuesday to sue my dad for my inheritance. So that's another MAGA thing that we're going to be dealing with.
I think it's time we talk about the elephant in the room. Not all bald people are cancer patients. And frankly, I find it offensive that some people are opting to be bald and thus appropriating the culture of cancer patients. It's come to my attention that some of these cancer posers are using their baldness to benefit from cancer privilege, even though they aren't cancer patients. And frankly, I think it's absolutely outrageous that more people aren't speaking out about this and that cancer allies aren't standing up to this injustice.
Well, I hope you got your laughs out of that today. It's been a heavy day with all that's been going on. Why we need God in this country is evident now more than ever. Why is this country on pins and needles all the time? It's because of the propaganda that the news media puts out. Why are we on pins and needles and anxiety-ridden all the time? Because we have a Congress we know that fights against its population and protects a population of people that came into this country illegally or under false pretenses, and a lot of them with bad criminal records, that they are helping to thwart the removal of. You can't write a book of fiction and explain this to a point where anyone would buy it. It has to wake somebody up at some particular point in time and show the ridiculousness of it. But yet it continues every day with people like Hakeem Jeffries. Chuck Schumer bent over that podium like a chicken hawk, trying to destroy one man that he can't handle, our president. Then the hearings that Congress has going on, where the Democrats are trying to malign the people that are brought in to explain why they're doing their job. It was perfectly okay during the Biden administration when the entire administration weaponized the Judge Department or the Justice Department and went after individuals for the sheer fact that they were in the way of a program that was not good for America. But now the people that are in the cabinet that are doing the job, cleaning up the fraud, helping us maintain the wild spending spree that benefited foreign countries more than it benefited our own, they fight against it. And they ridicule the person who's done that job in these hearings that's on C-SPAN, and some of the propaganda channels run it constantly. And Fox is included in that. We have a mainstream media that is basically crooked, run by very rich people with far too much power. And we've let that happen. You and I have let that happen. You and I have tuned in to these channels, gave them the viewership that they needed to continue to be a propaganda machine for these crooked politicians and crooked business people that have figured out a way onto the gravy train that is our tax dollars. Now there's some sort of boycott that they want to come up with on January 20th, I hear. Don't let that happen. The people that are in the streets screaming and hollering in the faces of the ICE agents and the policemen that are out there to do a job are just that. They're crazy. They are mentally disturbed people. Anxiety will do that to you. If you let this stuff into your heart, it will destroy your spirituality and your soul. We cannot let this continue. We need to protect ourselves, protect our children, especially that for 4 years were indoctrinated into beliefs that were absolutely mind-boggling, ridiculous. And now the Supreme Court today or yesterday have to have hearings on why we should keep biologic men out of women's sports. It's ridiculous. The thought of even discussing it doesn't make any sense. Of course there's a difference, a physical difference. And if you want to identify as something that you're not, that's your business. But don't tell people that they have to accept it. Because there are people that will never accept certain things. And they have that right to their opinion. We all do. And we should practice it. We have a First Amendment that allows these people to say what they want to say, but there is no way, shape, or form that we all have to accept their incorrect thinking. And that's what they want us to do. All accept anything that they tell us to accept, and that's called control of the masses. And it starts at the top, and it will take you directly straight to the bottom. And it's all driven by the dark angel himself and aided and abetted by the demons in the people that they have chosen to find the opening in and put them in power. And that's the long and short of the Kaiser Report for today. I wish you all a very happy rest of this Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. You may want to go get one today. There are a lot of great Mexican restaurants to choose from. It's cool here today. It's warming to the 50s, but we'll be in the teens toward the back end of this week. So Kaiser and I are kind of hunkered down here a little bit with the fire going, and we'll be back here tomorrow to talk to you some more about what will take place in our wonderful world of crazy today. So, and my thanks again to Bill Thomas for allowing me to share his broadcast on mine, and anyone else that has taken part in providing me with the information and the clips that I need every day to bring to you. We sift through a lot to try and give you what's current, what's truthful in some cases, and if we don't know, we'll tell you. But it's hard to fish through things right now because of this AI and things of that nature that are going on in advances in what you can and can't do with this camera and this medium, or mediums like it. I don't know much about Instagram or TikTok. I have refused to go into TikTok only because of the amount of craziness that takes place there. And if we're on X, we do publish our daily broadcast on X, and you can also find us on Rumble if you so choose those platforms over YouTube. We broadcast on YouTube and then transfer everything to both those mediums. Reddit, we once in a while will broadcast on, but that's where the meanness comes out of, the comments that come back. And we ask you all for comments, good or bad. We're not thin-skinned here. I'll take your criticism along with anyone else's. However, when you go on to Reddit, which we have broadcasted on or put this broadcast on, the vitriol that comes back from the people on Reddit is outstandingly upsetting. So we stopped that. But if you know of another platform that you would like to see the Kaiser Report on, let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Make sure you comment and give us a thumbs up. We need that to stay viable here on this platform, which will allow us to go on to other platforms. So your help is always appreciated on that. We're not monetized. We don't take money from anyone here. We do have a sponsor from time to time here, which is a local butcher shop and farm that provides fabulous, healthy food. And you will see that ad here from time to time, but we don't take on other advertisers, which keeps us down in the ratings a little bit, but that's okay. We're not here for that. We're here to bring out the truth and put the truth out and give somebody a reason to smile. And a smile every day as you walk through the supermarket or down the street. When you see someone, give them a smile and a hello. And let's get back to where it was when some of us grew up. That was the way it was. I'm a product of New York City, so people tend to be a little more rude and standoffish there, and don't like you looking at them. That's changing too. New York has changed dramatically since my childhood there, and I'm sure you've all noticed that. Still a great place to go, still a lot to see there. But you just need to be a little more aware these days. So until tomorrow, we're going to tell you to stay safe, stay strong, and stay with us for some more information, a satirical look at life, and some laughs in Stupid Town. So with that, God bless you all. Bye-bye now. Until tomorrow, stay there.